You got to start it. You got
I
to
did.
You did? Okay. So we got all our bushings out. We do have a couple areas where... Where's my toothpick? There it is. Do have a couple areas where we can see some cracking in the finish. Just some lift there. And a little chip there from our knife. Some of this was there. I could see it before we even took them out. There was a couple little spots. And that just chipped in there. The new bushing should cover it well enough. We'll see what it looks like. Again, this is my mandolin. This is not something I'm doing for a customer. So I'm not overly worried about it. But this is still visible. You can still see this a little bit here. A little more than it was with the other one. I think these still are a little bit shorter. The shoulder itself is bigger, but I think the overall diameter or circumference of them is a little bit bigger, or a little bit smaller. So that'll cover most of that stuff up. Shouldn't be a huge issue when it comes to it. But that's one of the things with taking those bushings out that you run into the possibility of doing. It's kind of hard to go because if you squirt around it beforehand, then you're going to really crack the inside of it. So there's really no way to win 100% with it. If you heat it up, it gets sticky and tacky. I can't remember. This isn't really a nitrocellulose lacquer, but it's a water-based lacquer, I think, is what they got on these guys. So either way, there's never going to be a perfect answer to it, but we'll see if we can't cover it up as best we can. So before, like I was saying, we're going to take, now that we're ready, reamed out really well. These are loose enough to where I can play with them a little bit in the hole. It gives me room to move. I can put some glue on that plug and I can get it in there. And then I'll just pop it in with the hammer and we'll just let the pressure of it being in there take place. I might taper it a little bit on the bottom to get it down a little bit lower, just so I don't have as much to chisel away later on. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to taper that just a little bit. So we'll taper those before we put them in. But this is where we were going before. We'll take our tape, put it over our holes, and then when I find the centers of these, we'll go through with a knife again. We'll ream them out so there's not any tape residue or tape remnant inside the hole, so I don't have any potential for anything blue sticking out. And then on the back side, not much to do outside of just cover up where these three center holes are all we're going to do with the pencil. This one's going to get covered with the new one, this one's going to get covered with the new one, and so are the two outside ones. So we really only need to do the three inner screws. And again, this is just to help protect with glue runoff, and it's also to help protect with when we're finished. We're going to chisel. So we're going to take our toothpick, we're going to find these holes, pop a hole in them, and oops, hang on, that was dull, and I missed a hole. There's that one, there's that one, and there's that one. And then what I'll do is I'll just go in and I'll take this out a little bit to see if we can't get some of that blue stuff, the tape, out of there. We'll kind of go out here. A knife is not an ideal tool, but sometimes it's a very handy tool for a lot of this stuff. So we got that stuff. We'll get that out of the way. Let's do it again. Are you going to throw something in the garbage again? No. No? Okay. No means yes, by the way. And Cypress talk. So we got this. We'll get that. We got just getting that tape out of the way a little bit on the inside so we don't have things sticking out that are blue. Not that it's a big deal on this side because it's going to get covered with the, but this will actually give the glue a little bit of chance to kind of spread out and give us a good area to work with, because it's not a big space. So we're going to take our toothpicks now, whatever color, doesn't matter. Color doesn't matter under this stuff. So we got a couple of yellow ones, we got a couple of blue ones. So we're just going to take... That's... Why? Is he drinking my coffee? Where's my coffee down. Oh, that's old. Oh, that's garbage. Let me spill on yourself.
That's coffee.
What are you making? Oh, making a doll?
Oh, you're back.
All right. That's old coffee. It's old coffee.
We got the new coffee.
I got the new coffee here. All right. Where are we going? So you don't have to be crazy careful with these guys. It's not a huge deal because some of them are splintered out like this. You try to avoid some of that. Try to find the side that's not splintered. And we're going to just be very careful doing this if you're doing this. So you don't cut your fingers. This is not the recommended technique to do this. But it does work.
That's what I always do.
Yes, that's my son who likes to do things like his father. All right. Get that burnt or rotted out. Toothpicks. So I ideally would have liked just the regular undyed wooden ones. That would have been perfect, but this is all they had at the store. And the hardware store was not open, and this is what the grocery store has. So you can fix your mandolin with grocery store products if you need to. So score in those, just score around the edges, and then you can break them off. There's 3, 4 coming up. Got a blue one in here. Puppies. We got puppies for sale if anybody's interested. You can always message me on this YouTube channel. Laponian Herder puppies. Wonderful dogs. They're 8 weeks old now. I'm just letting YouTube know people fixing mandolins might want to buy a dog. That they're for sale and they should contact me. Wonderful masterclass on tuner exchange on my dining room table. All right. Type Bond 2. Never need anything more than Type Bond 2. Very rarely do you need anything more than Type Bond 2 for any woodworking project. Unless it's like an oily wood like teak, lignum vitae. But most woods that are not overly oil maple, you don't need Type Bond 3, you don't need Gorilla Glue, you don't need any of that stuff. This has long been standard for custom cabinet makers. And it's my go-to glue for projects like this. So we'll just take these, tap this down a little bit, get that in there. Get that in there. This is exceptionally boring to watch, I'm sure, but it's part of it. Get that in there. And all this is going to do is create, for those who are really unfamiliar with any woodworking, it's just going to create an area where we can re-drill for a smaller screw. Most of this is going to get done away with, but it gives you a place to start so you have a little bit more to work with. And even these, again, with the way it goes, you need to be careful that you're not knocking them in too far because they are thicker than the hole itself. They're a little bit beefier in between. It's a smaller hole, but still any of that pressure can really cause issues if you pop the thing too much. So now we'll go around to the top side again. We'll get our bolster up here, a nice dish towel on my tape roll. I'll hold this out. So we'll take some of this, get this stuff out of here. And what we want to do is, again, I'm going to take this. This would be nice. Do you have an X-Acto knife upstairs?
I might. We know.
You know,
Not an exacto
you don't have the
knife.
exacto knife?
I don't have an exacto.
This is where an exacto knife would come in really nicely.
I have a razor knife, I think, but I don't got an exacto.
You don't have you didn't get the blades, right?
No,
You know
I
the
don't know
blades
where
are in the
those
garage.
are.
All right, that's right. This will work. This is not like rocket science here. We're not drafting the Sears Tower here. We're just cutting some tape out of here. So we'll pull this tape out of here. Obviously, you don't want tape getting stuck in here because it's a barrier. I mean, it'll take the glue too, but there's no point in having it in there. And then again, I'll just ream a little bit more. We've reamed them quite a bit. We kind of kept that off camera because it's a little tedious, and I don't know how to do the fast forward function where it shows everything in fast forward motion, but there's that. So that's what we're going to do with the rest of the 8 holes. Once we do that, we're ready to put our glue on our plugs and pop those in, and then we're going to let this set and dry. It's a couple hours. It can be dry. We'll give it a few hours. We'll come back, but I won't bother showing you all that stuff in here. We'll get these plugs in. We have these in, and then once we're done with this, we'll go over when it's dry, and I'll show you the process of taking those down to a reasonable level. All right? Very good. Done?